My presentation is about real-time marketing. We'll discuss today what is real-time marketing, which brands are doing real-time marketing, and how can you as marketeers, as business professionals, use real-time marketing in your marketing framework, in your marketing plans. We have 20 minutes for this. I'm not sure if we'll have time for Q&A. If we don't get time for questions, just tweet me a question, and I can promise you I'll respond to each and every question, comment that I get. And that's my handle at Parry Singh. All right, so let's start. So before we start moving to real-time marketing, I want to introduce you a very remarkable man. I'm not sure if you know this person. Does everyone know who this is? Can anyone take a guess who this person is? Neil Tyson, Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's great. Yeah, he's an astrophysicist. Now, interesting thing is, being an astrophysicist, he has almost 1.6 million followers. Today I checked his followers. It's 2 million now. It was 1.6 million, 2 million. Now that's a follower number that a lot of brands would be jealous of, right? And he does some cool things. He's very media savvy. He does some cool things. He hangs out with very cool people, people like Barack Obama, and there's another scientist called Bill Nye. So he's very media savvy. This is a selfie he took a couple of months back with Obama. What I find fascinating about him is that he is an astrophysicist having a global conversation on astrophysics, right? So a platform like Twitter enables him to connect to people who are interested in astrophysics, 2 million people. I find that really fascinating. So before we go deeper into this, I want you to hear something that he said, something very interesting. So let's hear Neil Tyson.
There's a level of connectivity. That's really what you want in life. You want to feel connected. You want to feel relevant. You want to feel like you're a participant in the goings-on of activities and events around you. That's precisely what we are, just by being alive.
So in case the audio was not very clear, what he said was, it's written over there. You feel like you want to participate. You want to be connected. The keywords are participate and connect. He's talking about astrophysics, but this applies as much to Twitter or any of these social media platforms as to astrophysics. But it wasn't always like this. Way back in history, earlier, people used to participate, but they used to sit around campfires. So this was also a connected experience. It was a participatory experience, but they were all about campfires, and each group of campfire was having a separate conversation. In the 19th century England, there were coffee houses, and people used to go to coffee houses to discuss things. That was their concept of UGC, user-generated content. In fact, the coffee houses started becoming specialized. There were coffee houses for literature, coffee houses for science, for arts, and so on. So UGC, or user-generated content, has always been our blood. But something very interesting happened after that. Print came into existence, and then newspapers came in. Now, the interesting shift that happened once newspapers came into our lives was this one-to-many content dissemination, right? So you have a set of newspapers disseminating content, so people are connected to the same content, but it was not a participatory experience. That's the difference. So while the campfires were participatory, newspapers, not exactly participatory. You can see these people reading the newspapers, but not really connected or participating. TV took it to a different level, right? 1950s, television, people are watching the same stories, the same things, but not really talking or participating. But all this changed thanks to social currencies and social glues, like a hashtag, for instance. It changes things, right? It makes an experience connected and participatory. You are all here, you're having a shared experience, but you're participating through this tweet follower here, where you are using hashtag ArabNetME to have a participative experience, right? That changed. A social glue came in the form of hashtags, in the form of social media platforms. Now, why did this happen? Because of this. Mediums like Twitter, which are live, public, and conversational. These mediums allow you to be in the moment now. It's real time. It's public. There is no concept of boundaries. Anybody can follow anyone. And it's conversational. 140 characters, perfect for conversation. And now we are in a moment where we have this digital campfire at a global scale. Think of this as a digital campfire. It's happening at a global scale that enables people like Neil Tyson to have global conversations with people who are interested in astrophysics. Now let's look at how this is impacting some of the things that we are used to. Let's take World Cup, a topical example like World Cup. World Cup was always a great connected experience, but look at how the participation factor is introducing new participation elements in the World Cup. Let's look at this. This is a simulated real-time dashboard of what's happening in the world now around World Cup on Twitter. You can see all the kind of things happening over there. Look at the things. You have global heat maps of brand mentions. You have things like, this is where, look at the Vine videos happening, the user-generated photos, the most talked about brands and topics. It's real time. It's all happening now. Which countries are being talked about? All this is happening. Look at Vine videos. Look at the Vine videos. People are generating Vine videos, and this is happening real time. These are all participatory elements that never existed. We all used to watch the games, talk about the games, but now people have the power and the tools to participate in World Cup like never before. In fact, now there have been more tweets around the World Cup, even it's not started yet, than the entire 2010 World Cup. There already have been more tweets around the World Cup. That's the power of this participatory and connected experience. So, a lot of you would have heard this term, the medium is a message. It's familiar. Marshall McLuhan, he said, long back, he said, the medium is the message. We think there is a fundamental and transformative shift in this sentence. It should read, the medium, the moment is the media. As marketer planners, we are used to thinking of mediums, media in which we want to participate. But the moments like World Cup, and there are several other moments like this, have become the media now. Marketers have to think of the moments they would want to participate in, along with the media. So the moment becomes the media. And the reason this is important is this. There are 1 billion moments to engage in 2 days. There are 1 billion tweets every 2 days. Each tweet is a moment. Each tweet is a moment for a brand or an individual to participate, to connect with others. 1 billion every 2 days. Now, as a marketing professional, it becomes important to understand which are the moments you would want to participate in. How would you want to go about doing that? So the rest of the session is all about this. We will create a real-time marketing planner. We will try to create a framework to help us understand how can we make sense of all these moments happening around us, which are the moments, and how we as marketeers, as business people, can be part of these moments. And there will be 5 messages, basically 5 messages that I want to give to you. So let's start, and let's look at the framework. Let's start with this. Think of the entire framework as 2 axes, based on 2 axes. You have moments that are event-based, episodic, right? They happen at a point in time. And then you have moments that are always on. And we'll start populating these quadrants one by one. And on the y-axis, you have planned moments, like World Cup, for instance, and you have unplanned moments. And we'll talk about what those moments could be. So let's start filling this up now. Let's start with the first one. We'll start from the right of the quadrant. Planned moments, which are event-based. Let's say you are a brand which is coming up with a new product. You are introducing a new product in the market, a change in your product, a change in the pricing. There are so many, these are planned moments that all marketers or business people are aware of, right? That is a planned, event-based moment. So let's take an example. Let's take the example. OK, before we go to that example, I want to show something very interesting. Now, this is 4:15. I don't want to bore you with dense charts. This chart is very dense. All I want you to take away from this is the blue line represents an average Twitter user. The gray lines represent an average internet user. This is UAE specific. This is a UAE research. And all it's saying is, across all verticals, an average Twitter user researches more for products. So you see the blue bar, longer, bigger, higher than the gray bar. All it's saying is an average Twitter user researches a lot about products. So as a marketer, it's important for you to ensure all your products are there, they have a footprint on Twitter. So this is a UAE research. But let's go to the example. Let's look at the example of KFC. This is KFC in Singapore. They were introducing a new burger, and they just put they had a 360-degree campaign. They put a footprint of that campaign on Twitter. Now, it's great. They are connecting to people who are on Twitter. But that's not where it ends. What happened after that was interesting. There was a conversation around this burger. And people are tweeting to KFC. So the first tweet says, I missed you, so-and-so. And then KFC tweets back saying, reunited and it feels good, and so on. There's a very nice banter happening around the introduction of this new product. What KFC has done is they've lit a campfire, a digital campfire, around this new product that they've introduced. They've created a campfire. People are coming into this campfire, and they are having a conversation around the product. So there's a fundamental shift now. People are not just connecting to the brand. People are connecting through the brand. And that's my first message. It's nice to connect to a brand, but it's even better to connect through a brand. If your brand can be a social glue through which people connect, people have a conversation, they have an exchange, they talk to each other, they bond, that's the right way to use this medium. Connect through a brand, not just to a brand. So that's our first quadrant, right? We talked about the campaign. Let's look at the second quadrant. Now, we are getting into the zone where it's still planned, but it's always on now. Let's look at always on moments. Moments that happen all the time. They are not product specific, they are not event specific, they happen all the time. Everyday moments. Now, why is this important? Again, I'll go back to the research in UAE. Now, all this says is we did a research here as to what do people tweet about. The number 2 thing people tweet about in UAE is commenting on their daily activities. That's the number 2 thing. So people love to talk about what they are doing on a day-to-day basis. That's number 2. The first one was upload and share photos. This is UAE. So which is why it's important to understand which are those daily activities, daily moments that people are talking about, and be part of those moments. Those moments could be shopping. This is a typical shopping tweet volume across the week. It goes up during Sundays and so on. Let's look at tired. Now, this is a very interesting one. The sleep, the tweet volume for tired keeps going up like this. Let me just go back a bit. It reaches high on a Wednesday, the conversations around tired. But here's what happens after that. People tweet about things like, why can't I sleep at night? This is a very interesting, very popular phrase, why can't I sleep at night? People tweet a lot about this every night. Now, if you're a brand like ZzzQuil, which is a sleeping aid, you want to be part of this moment like this. Now, this is a tweet that ZzzQuil has when people are tweeting, why can't I sleep at night? What they're saying is, seriously, these tweets will still be here tomorrow. Let's go to bed together. The interesting thing they're doing here is, A, they are being part of an everyday moment. That's number 1. Number 2, they are being conversational here. They are prolonging, they're carrying on a conversation. And they are not doing a hard sell, but they are just being part of that conversation that's already happening around a daily activity, which is, why can't I sleep at night? So similarly, for every brand, there could be different moments that they would want to be part of, right? If you are making running shoes, that you would want to know, do the running conversations peak in the morning? If you're a food brand, you would want to know when people talk about going out to a restaurant, you want to be part of that conversation. So as a brand, do we understand which daily moments are relevant to our brand or our product category? Which brings me to my second message, which is this. Brands don't just have target markets. They now have target moments. We are very used to thinking in terms of our demographic segments, our socioeconomic segments, which is great. But above all that, there is this layer of target moments that each brand need to be aware of. They straddle across different markets. They straddle across different socioeconomic segments. So as a brand, do we understand which are the target moments that are relevant for our brand? That's my message number 2. Let's go to the third one now. We are going into the unplanned territory. So we've talked about campaign-based moments, everyday moments. Let's look at the third category, respond. We are in a situation where people talk about our brands, our products all the time on Twitter, and they expect a response back. A lot of these moments could be unplanned, and they are always on. They are in the always on side of the zone, and they are unplanned. Like this tweet. Okay, before I go to the tweet, again, a bit of research. The first graph was about people researching online in UAE. This is about people talking about products. These are all categories, mobile phones, films, and so on. And if you look at the blue bar, that's the average Twitter user. That's higher than the average internet user, which means people on Twitter love talking about products, love talking about brand. Now let's look at one of the such persons. This is Laura Ellen. A very simple tweet. She said, can't tell I like chocolate a bit too much when I'm following Kit Kat and Oreo. A very simple, normal tweet, an everyday moment. She's talking about a product. What happened after that was this. Kit Kat responded to her. And Kit Kat said, the fight for Laura Ellen's affections is on. Oreo, your move, have a break. Have a break is Kit Kat's tagline. So it's a nice one, right? Now, Oreo got back to them and said, sorry, Kit Kat, we couldn't resist. Give Oreo a break. And they break the Kit Kat over here. So a nice banter happening along a moment, an everyday moment, where a person is just talking about chocolate, and both Oreo and Kit Kat are having a good, nice little banter about it. Right? It's unplanned. It's probably not totally planned. It's always on. But people love it when brands respond back to them, when brands talk to them. And it's not always important to be perfect. That era is gone. Yes, when it was, you think in terms of a print campaign or a TV campaign, yes, you want everything to be perfect. But over here, it's more important to be in the moment, be authentic, than be perfect. Which is our third message, which is your consumers want daily conversations, not just time-bound campaigns. Because you have a campaign from the 1st of April to the 15th of April will not stop your consumers talking about the products that you represent. So you need to understand that they are talking about your product all the time, and they want daily conversations from you. Time-bound campaigns are great, but they have to be supplemented with these conversations, with these responses. So we filled up the third quadrant, right? So campaign, everyday moment, respond. Let's look at the fourth one, which I think is very important, which is the essence of this, which is cultural moments. Twitter and these mediums are full of moments that are culturally important. They trend on a regular basis every year. And these moments could be different for each brand. We love, as brands, we like to create and have our own hashtags, which is fantastic. But do remember one thing. Some hashtags are to be created, but you can ride some existing hashtags. You know that every year, depending on which moments are important, some hashtags will rise, will go up. And as a brand, it's important to understand which are those hashtags and ride along with those hashtags. Let's look at what Dorito did. Now, this is an Easter campaign. Now, very relevant. Ramadan is coming. So Dorito did something very interesting. It's a fun brand. So they have this thing called, they have a little wine where they've created they're using the entire cultural, amplitude of Easter and have a competition about naming the tune. Let me see how many of you can name the tune here. Let's just play the tune first. Okay. This is not Sounds of Silence. Let's play the tune. If we can have the audio, please. Anybody? No? It's a group called Human League. Don't you want me? So yeah, just a trivia. But yeah, a fun moment, a fun thing, a cultural moment. Easter, Dorito is having fun with it. They're riding on an important cultural moment, which they think is important for their brand. Let's look at something else. World Cup football. Heineken did an interesting wine. They were not official sponsors of the football cup, but they did this little wine, which is ensuring that they are part of the conversations around football. Let's look at this wine. Simple, effective, ensuring that Heineken is part of the conversation around goals, around football, around the World Cup. So, what's the message here? All these brands seemed to strike in the moment, but they have planned in advance. They are part of a moment which looks like it's real time, right? Easter, football, or it could be Mother's Day or Father's Day or Valentine's Day, or whatever is important from your brand's perspective. But the important thing is they planned this in advance. Brands are even having a cultural moments calendar which spans across the year. They look at their brand's attributes, they look at the cultural moments that are trending on Twitter throughout the year, and they ensure they are part of those cultural moments that trend throughout the year. They even look at the hashtags that have trended for those moments and ensure those hashtags are part of their tweets. Because those hashtags, the amplitude of those hashtags will sweep those brands also along with it and will ensure that the brands also get visibility. So plan in advance, strike in the moment. So this is the overall marketing framework that we've just worked on, right? We looked at campaigns, everyday moments, response, and cultural moments. My last message is this. So all these are great tools. This is a great framework which you can use. But ultimately, social media is about this. These are tools, but real time is a mindset. In order to enable this, what's needed, above all, above everything, is a mindset to be in the moment, which requires a bunch of things, which requires, A, for you to empower people who are in charge of your social media campaign. Empowerment is important. A lot of those things probably wouldn't have happened if the person who was in charge of the handle needed 6 layers of email approval to tweet out that clever tweet, right? So empowerment is very important. The second thing that's very important is authenticity. You need to be authentic. You need to find what's the voice of your brand. If your brand were to be personified, what would it be? Would it be a friend? Would it be a father figure? Would it be an uncle? What would it be? And use that tone. And the third thing is, it's important to be authentic and in the moment, then to be perfect. People are fine with imperfections on social media, as long as you're authentic and you're in the moment. So it's more about a mindset. And while all the tools are great, it's a mindset, it's a muscle memory for these moments that we encourage brands to create. That's my last message. Thank you so much for your patient hearing. I got a signal that I'm pretty much at the end of my time. So if you have any questions, just feed it to me. I'll respond back to you. Thank you so much.